gasoline I smell?
Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel, guys. I hope you all are doing amazing as always, and it's me, Joe, as always. And today, guys, I want to talk about the possibility that we might be getting a new Scream movie every year. And before we get into it, guys, hit that like button, or if you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel. All these things help me a lot, so thank you so much for doing them. But now let's get right into talking about Scream 6. And Scream 7 and Scream 8 and Scream 9 and and so on and so on. So Scream 5 came out last year in January, and it is a movie that I find to be sort of mediocre. I'm not the biggest fan of Scream 5. I don't hate it, I don't love it, it's just kind of mediocre, at least for me. But that movie came out in January 2022. Now, in March 2023, now we got obviously Scream 6, and I think that Scream 6 is actually, a pretty amazing movie. Actually, I really do love Scream 6, and it is a movie that's like really intense, very well paced, great character development, and all that. You guys know that if you watched my spoiler and non-spoiler reviews. You guys know how I feel about Scream 6. But a rumor is that Scream 7 should start filming by October this year. And that is absolutely insane. And that would only mean that we would get Scream 7 next year in 2024, right? And that is just absolutely insane, because the idea that we would be getting a new Scream movie every year is just so fascinating to me. Because Scream 5, I was a bit afraid. I'm gonna be honest. With Scream 6, I was a bit afraid that they only have, a year to make this movie, and so I was a bit afraid that it might be bad. But I still, was feeling really hopeful about the movie. But the movie turned out to be really, really good and even better than Scream 5, And so that gave me hope that this might actually work. And I know that it sounds crazy that we would be getting a new Scream movie every year. But if you take a look at, some other, some other IPs that are getting, 2, 3, 4, 5 projects a year, I think that getting a new Scream movie every year isn't as crazy as some people might think. Because like when you take a look at, I don't know, like Marvel movies and shows on Disney Plus, you get a lot of them, and even Star Wars. So I think that getting just like a one Scream movie a year, I think that isn't like an entirely crazy idea. And I think that it could totally work. And Scream 7, you can do so much stuff there. Like, first of all, I would bring back Sidney Prescott, and I would bring back Stu Macher. I talked about this in my last video. The only way how to bring back why to bring back Sidney Prescott is to fight her nemesis from the past. And the only nemesis that actually might still live in the Scream universe might be Stu Macher, And, even in Scream 6, Mindy still believes that Stu Macher might be alive. And I think that having, Scream 7, where you would have Stu Macher versus Sidney Prescott, I think that would be just amazing. And I think that I think that Matthew Lillard would totally do it, So there's always like something you can do with, new Scream movies. There are so many ideas they can actually explore in future installments of this franchise. So I'm definitely optimistic about all of this. And I really do think you can just do a lot of stuff. In Scream 6, we got Kirby back. And Kirby was amazing in Scream 6. Like, let's be honest, she was amazing in this movie, right? And so I think that getting a new Scream movie every year has its benefits. Now, obviously, the script, right? We need a good script every year, which that's kind of hard, especially when you're doing a Scream movie, because Scream movie is, I guess a lot harder to write than like your average slasher movie, right? Because like an average slasher movie, you just got some kids, a killer, and the killer is slashing the kids or the teenagers, But that's not what Scream is about. It is about that, but you also need to write a really good reveal, and you need to surprise people. So writing a screenplay is definitely a lot harder than writing like an average slasher horror movie. You know what I mean? So I definitely think that getting a new Scream movie every year is 100% possible, and I think that we're 100% getting Scream 7 next year, by the way, because like again, the rumor is that they're gonna start filming by October. Right, so that would mean that we would be getting a new Scream movie next year. I would say that this time it might be, during the summer. But yeah, that's just like my wild guess. But overall, I really do feel like that getting a new Scream movie every year is entirely possible. They just need a good script, which they prove they can make a good script in a year with Scream 6. Because I think that Scream 6 and the script of this movie is actually much better than the script for Scream 5, So yeah, they proved that they can make, that the Radio Silence can make a really good script just in a year, and make a good movie in a year, So I think that it's entirely possible. I've heard some people talking that, Paramount just wants to milk Scream. And yeah, I mean that's true, right? Because like you want to make money off of your franchises, that makes sense. But if the movies that are gonna be coming out are gonna be good, well then everybody's gonna be happy, right? And I was very happy and pleased with Scream 6. But yeah, guys, these are essentially just my thoughts about this, about getting a new Scream movie every year. I think that it's entirely possible. I really do love this idea, especially if the scripts are gonna be good. And again, I'm not really worried because again, Radio Silence, they proved that they can make a great Scream movie in a year. And I think that, and I think that's awesome, essentially. Anyway, guys, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Take care as always, and bye.